The sheep hear his voice as the shepherd calls his own sheep by name and leads them out. The sheep follow him because they recognize his voice. This image of the shepherd and the sheep is a well-known image in the gospel. Jesus uses it, obviously, right here. Sheep are not the smartest of animals. They might see some grass over there and run off and go get it, and then they get lost. Sheep need direction. They need guidance. They need a shepherd. They need a voice to lead them. And when the sheep have that, when they have that voice, when they have that shepherd, they are secure. Their lives are great. The image of the shepherd and the sheep is a well-known image in the gospel. And it applies to us. Sometimes we are not the smartest of creatures. Sometimes we see something we like and we go after it. Things sometimes that aren't good for us. We need guidance in our lives. We need something secure. We need a shepherd. We need that voice. Jesus is the good shepherd. It's Jesus who leads us to the places that are secure. It's Jesus who leads us to a life better than we can ever imagine. Now, the Gospels are written about 2,000 years ago. How do we continue to hear the voice of Jesus today? We get a glimpse of that. We get some insight into that with the first two readings. The first reading from the Acts of the Apostles shows Peter standing up, giving a teaching. In the second reading, we hear a letter from Peter. Peter is that voice that Jesus chose to continue his voice in the world. And through succession, through Peter today, through the Catholic Church, we continue to hear that voice. It's the teachings of the church that cannot err in faith or morals, even though it's made up of sinful people. The Catholic Church is protected by the Holy Spirit to enable us to live our faith, to live upright lives, to live the perfect lives in the world today. Now, these past couple weeks, month and a half or so, the church has been confronted with some interesting times, right? The church has been confronted with new situations. We've leaned on Pope Francis, on Cardinal DiNardo, to guide us through this. And Cardinal DiNardo has given me directives to follow. And as one of my three great promises, obedience to my bishop, I follow what he says. And right now, today, the Cardinal has allowed public masses to be said. Now, the crowds so far have been pretty slim, understandably so. There's absolutely no obligation to go to Mass right now. We need to protect ourselves, protect each other. If you feel like coming to public Mass, you can. If not, the best thing you can do while we can't come to Mass is to learn the teachings of the church, to pray with the Gospels. So as you're live streaming, watching this live stream, when this is all said and done, I encourage you, go back to the Gospel. Go back to the readings. Reflect on it. Talk about it with your family. And when you do decide to come back to Mass, I promise you, it will be absolutely beautiful. Christ came into the world to give us life abundantly. We follow his voice in the church. continue to listen to that voice in our world today, you'll never go astray, and you will live life to the full.